Welcome to Jones Auditorium at Meredith College. Please take a moment to locate the exit nearest you, keeping in mind it may not be the one through which you entered.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ken Smith with WRAL and Fox 50. I will be your Master of Ceremonies for the 2022 Governor's Awards for Excellence ceremony. This is the first in-person ceremony since 2019, and I know you're joining me in being very excited to be back in person. Well, this year we are honoring a record-breaking 184 state employees, 13 individuals, a team of 7 colleagues, and a team of 164 collaborators. Nominated by their agencies, these recipients represent what it means to be truly exceptional public servants. Today we will learn about their contributions and how their selfless actions have benefited the people of our great state of North Carolina. The Governor's Awards for Excellence program was created in 1982 to show the appreciation for the outstanding accomplishments of the most dedicated state employees that go above and beyond their normal duties. State employees are nominated for the award by their supervisors and coworkers. This year, a total of 382 nominations were submitted from agencies and universities all across our state. Now, before introducing our speakers, it is my pleasure to welcome the North Carolina Honor Guard from the Department of Public Safety. And presenting the colors today will be Colonel William Gibson, Captain John Frick, Captain Thetford Simmons, Lieutenant Brian Davis, and Officer Benjamin Kimbrough. It is also a privilege to welcome Devon Young, who will be singing the national anthem. Please stand, if you're able, for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Present. On. Order. On. Ready. Post. Detail. Hold. Order. On. Hold on.
Thank you, gentlemen of the Color Guard. Thank you, Ms. Young, for that stirring rendition of our national anthem. You may be seated. We are so grateful for the continuing support of the State Employees Credit Union Foundation, which generously provides grant funding to make this program possible. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Bob Brinson, Chairman of the Board of the State Employees Credit Union Foundation. Chairman Brinson and the SECU Foundation believe strongly in the merits of state government service and its mission to improve the lives of all North Carolinians. Please join me in welcoming Chairman Brinson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Bob Brinson, Chair of the SECU Foundation Board of Directors. I'm delighted to be here in person, as we mentioned earlier, to congratulate an outstanding group of state employees, 22 individuals who are being honored with the Governor's Award for Excellence for their extraordinary service and accomplishments. As a longtime supporter of the Governor's Awards, we look forward to this annual opportunity to celebrate our state government employees. We applaud their dedication to making a difference in the lives of fellow North Carolinians and our local communities every day. This past year, they have once again stepped up in countless ways, demonstrating their great compassion and deep commitment as public servants, especially those receiving this prestigious award today. These individuals, through their leadership and extraordinary service, truly reflect the cooperative spirit of helping others. We are honored to help recognize the contributions of those representing many professions and faces of state government who work tirelessly on our behalf. Sharing the support of 2.6 million members of the State Employees Credit Union who fund the SECU Foundation, we offer our heartfelt congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Brinson. It is my pleasure now to say a few words about Barbara Gibson, Director of the Office of State Human Resources. OSHR administers the Governor's Awards for Excellence program. Appointed by Governor Cooper in January 2017, Director Gibson is dedicated to ensuring fair, welcoming, and inclusive workplaces for all state government employees. To better recruit and retain state employees, Director Gibson has overseen the first comprehensive overhaul of the statewide compensation system since 1949. The system is better aligned with North Carolina's competitive job market and bolstered by policy updates that provide agencies increased flexibility. She is also working to modernize the state's human capital management system, which is essential to providing accurate, real-time data for informed decision-making. Without further ado, please welcome to the stage State Human Resources Director Barbara Gibson.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Ken. First of all, and also a sincere thanks to Bob Brinson and the State Employees Credit Union for their unwavering support of this event every year. Without their support, we certainly couldn't do this, so always appreciated. The wonderful partnership makes it possible each year for us to honor our remarkable state employees and their amazing achievements. And as I look out and see so many smiling faces today, I must tell you what a joy it is to celebrate with you and all of your well-wishers. We're so grateful to Meredith College for making this wonderful space available and for providing their staff to help make this such a great success. Thank you for that. It's been a really nice, smooth process here. I'm also grateful to my team at the Office of State Human Resources, which has collaborated closely with additional volunteers to make this a special day for everyone. So huge shout out to OSHR. This day has been a long time coming. The pandemic made it impossible to hold these events, the signature recognition event, in person since 2019, as Ken said. And to be honest, it feels really good to be back together. The Governor's Awards for Excellence are the highest honor a state employee may receive for dedicated service to the people of North Carolina. It's a distinguished group that our recipients are joining today, and I'm delighted to welcome each one of you as members of that group. I'd like to thank our selection committee, which had the difficult task of reviewing this year's 382 nominations. And ultimately, standout nominations were selected from 8 state agencies and 3 universities, including a record-setting total of 184 state employees. Whether it's helping their agency or university streamline a process to better serve constituents, rushing toward danger to protect those at risk, or acting outside of their job duties to help others succeed, this year's group of recipients have remarkable stories to share. The 21 awards to be presented this afternoon will recognize 2 teams and 13 individuals. The exceptional contributions run the gamut of 6 categories: customer service, efficiency and innovation, human relations, outstanding government service, public service, and safety and heroism. As I am familiar with these stories, let me just say, be prepared to be impressed. If you've got a handkerchief or some tissues, you may want to get those ready as well. Very soon, you'll learn more about this Governor's Awards Excellence recipients by watching special video tributes where you'll hear from their grateful colleagues, including agency leadership, and people that are impacted by their many contributions. You'll even hear them claim it wasn't all that special. Humility is a common trait among the Governor's Awards for Excellence recipients. But let me be clear, what they do and how their commitment to service guides their lives and inspires others is really nothing short of spectacular. Their experiences reflect and support Governor Cooper's promise to help all North Carolinians become better educated, healthier, and more prosperous so that they can live more abundant and purposeful lives. I appreciate all the agency and university leaders today that are here to commend their special team members. And to our honorees, on behalf of all state employees and the people that we serve, please accept my sincere gratitude. Your shining example really does inspire others, including me, to make the most of every opportunity that we can to serve others. If you haven't done so already, be sure to peek into the Canvas gift bag, which I don't see where those are, so I guess they did not get out here. There, okay, excellent. So when you get to your Canvas gift bag, peek into it. And you will find that the generosity from the SEC Foundation, you'll find an umbrella with the Governor's Awards for Excellence logo, as well as many other items that have been contributed by agencies and universities to recognize your great contribution. We hope you'll enjoy using them, and when you do use them, it'll remind you of the work that you did and how appreciated you are. And now it is my honor to introduce Governor Roy Cooper, a career state employee. He is dedicated to supporting our public workforce and ensuring that more North Carolinians are ready for the jobs of today and tomorrow. Charles Dickens famously said, "Do all the good you can and make as little fuss about it as possible." That's what each of our award winners do, but I'm happy that Governor Cooper decided to make a well-deserved fuss in a video message to each of you on this very special occasion. Up north, we would have called it a shout-out. Down here in the South, we call it a fuss. Distinguished Governor's Awards for Excellence honorees, colleagues, and guests, please welcome Governor Cooper.
Hi everybody, Roy Cooper here. Congratulations to this year's Governor's Award for Excellence winners. I'm honored to serve alongside you and all the state employees who work every day to make North Carolina the amazing place that it is. State employees are the backbone of our government. You provide valuable services while our communities, families, schools, businesses, drivers, caregivers, everybody count on you. Our clean air and water, our quality of life, and our very safety depend on you. And every year, we have employees who step up and go the extra mile. This year's 184 recipients certainly did that. Among this year's honorees is a team of 164 heroes employed across the Department of Health and Human Services who worked hard to keep our communities safe during the pandemic. We also have a team of 7 from the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services who used technology to combat pandemic-related hunger that afflicted so many people. Each of you has gone beyond the scope of your job requirements to make North Carolina the best state in which to live, work, play, and raise a family. Thank you for your service to our state, and congratulations on this well-deserved achievement.
Thank you, Governor Cooper. Thank you, Director Gibson. You know, I was born in the British Virgin Islands, grew up in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but for the last 20 years, I am so proud to call North Carolina home. After all, I met my lovely wife here in this great state, and you're about to see why we're all so very proud to call this state home. It is now my privilege to tell you about all the recipients selected for this year's Governor's Award for Excellence. We will begin with the honoree in the customer service category, Jessica Trevina of Correction Enterprises. Jessica's incredible work ethic has helped her rise in the ranks at Corrections Enterprises, a division of the Department of Public Safety. She holds the record for the most positive survey mentions for Correction Enterprises and played a key role in revitalizing more than $600,000 in previously lost accounts. Let's learn more about Jessica's dedication to her customers.
You know, the very first day she was on the job, she actually saw one of our team members, permanent team members, being rude to a customer. And she was so bold even the first day, she complained about that and told me about it. And that right there told me this was something special because she had that kind of empathy for customers.
One thing that I don't think you see enough of in customer service and sales is people doing those jobs, putting themselves in your place. You're the consumer, you're the customer, and you come to me. I should be putting myself in your shoes, taking this on as your need is my need.
You know, when Secretary Buffalo asked for her one time by name, I wasn't surprised at all because she has the gift of empathy and relating to people. No matter who they are, what title they are, she has that gift. And when you've got that gift innately in you, I'm not surprised that everybody doesn't know her by name by now.
Because I make sure that every project that I take on, I am giving it the time and I am making it important to myself because it's important to the person that's purchasing.
I've worked literally with hundreds of employees, and if I could think back through all those employees, none is more deserving of this Governor's Award of Excellence, in my opinion, than Jessica Trevina. She has done anything and everything. She's the epitome of a winner of this award in every regard.
Our mission is so important. And I want men and women across North Carolina that are incarcerated to understand that where they're at is not the end. You know, that does not have to be the be-all, see-all, is-all. And there is value. Every person has value, whether they see it or not, or whether they're living up to it or not. So that is what I do in my daily life as well. I just try to live up to my value and my worth and be the best person that I can be. And that transfers over to everything you do, including your job.
Presenting the award is Todd Ishii, who was recently named Secretary for the new Department of Adult Correction, which soon will become distinct from the Department of Public Safety. Jessica Trevina and her Correction Enterprises colleagues will be part of this new agency. Please welcome our honoree, Jessica Trevina. In the Efficiency and Innovation category, we have Tiffany Turner Lynch from Winston-Salem State University. Tiffany is a business manager for the Office of Legal Affairs. Not only has she been credited in expediting several procedures and spearheading new projects, but Tiffany also worked to make office practices more sustainable. Join us in learning more about her efforts at Winston-Salem State University.
Started at Winston-Salem State as a student back in 2013. So to see this evolution of becoming a student, then just becoming an admin to being the legal audit risk and compliance coordinator, the journey has been incredible. So I appreciate that just within itself. But working with the team that I work with, you can't beat it. It's the best thing.
When you talk about the day-to-day operations of the office, she has implemented these amazing ways, all of these amazing ideas to try to manage and put a lot of these smaller, lower level duties on autopilot, if you will, various checks, balances, assurances, so that we can all focus on higher level ideas, higher level duties, strategies, and she's allowed us to move the office and therefore the university in ways that are unimaginable.
I love to see that everybody is taking this compliance and ethics role very seriously, especially in the world that we're in right now. We want to make sure that everybody is on top of their game as best as they can be. We know that sometimes things happen, but you have to know how to respond when those things happen as well.
I've worked with Ms. Turner Lynch for approximately 10 years. And over that time, I've gotten to realize quite a few things about her, got the chance to learn quite a few things about her. When you talk about her leadership, things that she brings to the table, she's very creative, she's very innovative, which is why I nominated her for that award.
At the podcast, and we had a virtual scavenger hunt because this was during COVID, and we wanted to make sure that everybody had access to learn, because even though it wasn't targeted towards students, faculty and staff are still learners, so we want to make sure that they're included as well and make sure they have everything they need to do their job the most effective and efficient way that they can.
Her innovation shows up regularly. For instance, on a day-to-day basis, she will come into this office with some sort of idea, some sort of trend that she saw in the private sector, something she wants to explore, experiment to see whether or not we can implement something like that here. Thankfully, we are a rather small office, very limited in what we do, so she has the bandwidth and the space to really try to experiment, use this kind of as a lab, if you will, to try out quite a few things. And I will say happily that some of the ideas that she's come up with, they've been a hit. Having this opportunity right now, having this this recognition at such a high level is beyond. I'm so appreciative. I don't even know if words can actually capture how special this really is.
And presenting the award is Winston-Salem State University Chancellor Edward Robinson. Please welcome our honoree, Tiffany Turner Lynch. Also in the efficiency and innovation category is Travis Woods of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Travis is a CAD GIS technician with the Project Management Division for the Office of Facilities who used his technical know-how to make the university a safer place to live and work while also reducing the strain on his department. Let's see how he did it in this video.
Previously, we get together as a group and we walk around the whole campus in 2 nights. And we're looking for trip hazards, lights out, overgrowth on bushes. And in previous years, that's all manually recorded, piece of paper to pen, and then somebody's got to put it into an Excel spreadsheet. It's a lot of work.
What I figured out we could do is go out with GPS-enabled maps, create waypoints to mark the exact locations of issues, attach a photograph so they could easily be found later. I used software that's readily available from a company called Esri and then kind of tweaked it to the purposes that we needed. I figured if they could collect coordinate data on where safety issues are, it would be much easier for a contractor to go out and find that exact spot and find that exact issue and take care of it.
You can take your phone or an iPad. It's real time. When you get back to the office and everything that was captured that night is already there. It's really incredible how much time it saves.
I'm pleased with how it's been received, especially for safety issues. It's been overwhelmingly positive, especially from the person at the end of the process that used to have to take the handwritten descriptions, interpret them. Now the issues are chosen from a drop-down menu, so there's no confusion about what exactly the issue is. Because there's a GPS coordinate, there's no confusion about exactly where it is. Because there's a photo, it's very easy to find exactly what the issue is.
We have resources available, but there's always a budget, so the more efficient we can be, the more we can get done. And I think that's where this particular program really shines. It is such a time saver. We have this technology available. It's just a matter of developing it, and people like Travis make that happen.
It's so easy to get stuck in the way that we've always done something, but as new technology emerges and new workflows are available, to be able to incorporate those into the way that you are doing things, it's important for any organization.
Travis is a rock star in our group.
It's a great group of people, especially in project management where I am. Everybody knows exactly what they need to do, everybody helps out everybody else. It's a great place to work.
Presenting the award is Miles Lackey, Vice Chancellor of Business Affairs at UNC Wilmington. Please welcome our honoree, Travis Woods. Next, in the Human Relations category, we recognize Justine Brownell from the Department of Health and Human Services. Join me as we learn about how Justine used her skills, ingenuity, and passion to vastly improve the lives of residents of Black Mountain Neuromedical Center with the power of her caring heart and a sewing machine.
Well, I guess I joined a club in 5th grade. It was called the Crochet Club. And then I made these like crocheted squares and I wanted to sew them into like pillows. And so I asked my dad for a sewing machine and he got me one. And I just kind of started sewing. And then, well, here I am so many years later, just still sewing.
It's hard to find someone that has that skill. It's hard to find people that sew anymore, but at the skill level that she does, where it looks professional. Have that creativity and her ability to go in and work with residents. It's amazing. You know, people see it and they see the items and they love them and they love using them, and residents, staff alike. But I think she doesn't always get the recognition that she deserves for how hard that work is and how much creativity and skill it takes.
I am so thankful to be able to work with Justine. Pretty much on a weekly basis, there's something that comes up where it just needs to happen right away. So I give Justine a call and she's always quick to jump in and help collaborate.
You have to be able to customize things. You have to be able to make it person-centered. She looks ahead to like what that resident would like and what would be comfortable for them to wear, and what's still going to maintain dignity even if that person is declining.
So we have like the Lat Buddies or like Busy Blankets. There's a lot of different names for them. A lot of the adaptive clothing is more like protective clothing for residents. And then we also have like a lot of padding. Like I sew a lot of padding into pants and stuff. If residents might want to spend time on the floor, they can do that safely. And then we also have like adaptive clothing that is just kind of like modified so it's like easier to get on, like maybe snaps up the back and stuff like that.
It's just a game changer. It's so helpful to be able to look at each resident individually and come up with what will work for them.
Being able to somehow take the ideas or what we need as the outcome and put it into a product is just amazing to watch. It's so key here.
It's very nice to do like meaningful work that has an impact on other people's lives. So it is really nice to know that it like can have a positive impact on another person, for sure.
Presenting this award is Secretary Cody Kensley of the Department of Health and Human Services. Please welcome our honoree, Justine Brownell. My mother's a seamstress, so your story brings back some warm memories for me growing up. Thank you for that. First up in the category of Outstanding Government Service is a group of 7 colleagues from the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. The COVID-19 pandemic brought on countless challenges all across our state, including food scarcity. These 7 individuals make up the Increasing Meat Production and Capacity Grant Program, also known as IMPACT, that helped to remedy this issue. Join me as we see how they were able to accomplish this daunting and very important task.
We need to think back to the spring of 2020, and for the first time in my life, we had grocery stores that the shelves were empty. At the same time, we had animals that were ready to be harvested that the processing plants could not harvest them.
We were hearing from small processors that they were getting booked out.
The wait time for a farmer to get a cow processed became 8, 10, and then 12 months, and then beyond that.
And so that was the reason that IMPACT was developed. What we were asked to do was take money that was made available through the Federal CARES Act and get that money to processors so they could increase the number of animals that they could process. It got food back into the trade. There was food for people to eat, and it became an additional market for livestock producers and watermen to move their product into the food system. This was just a concept in May. It was July whenever it became reality. September, we rolled the program out, and the first program, the IMPACT 1, had to be completed by December the 30th of 2020.
So it was almost an unrealistic timeline, but the expertise of this team, who it's important to keep in mind have other jobs and responsibilities within the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, were able to quickly put together a program and implement it and get out funding to 57 different processors across the state.
The team that we pulled together, they're not all located in Raleigh, which created some challenges. However, all our meat processors are not in Raleigh either. So that provided them an opportunity to have one-on-one touch with the people with who they were working with on this grant.
This team is not a team that normally functions together. We brought in experts from our marketing division, from our research station division, and had them work collaboratively for the first time on a project to really help grow and meet that need in the state.
They all brought their talents to the table, and they brought a willingness to work together and a willingness to serve. And it's a culture that at NCDA that allows that kind of thing to happen.
It's definitely helped us tremendously to improve.
We were able to increase production by a lot.
With this grant, adding the throughput for our farmers and the increased capacity to process, we've also added jobs for our community.
I thought that during my career as an employee, there were some things that were very important that I was involved with. I'm not sure there's anything that I've ever worked with that will have a more lasting impact than the progress that we've made in increasing the capacity of the small to medium-sized processing plants in North Carolina.
Presenting this award is Dr. Sandy Stewart, Assistant Commissioner for Agricultural Services at the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Please welcome our honorees, John Eilert, Sam Brake, Joe Hampton, Kelly McGeever, and Allison Medlin. Jack Nils and Pete Anderson were unable to join us today. Our next recipient in the category of Outstanding Government Service is a large group. In fact, it is the largest team to ever receive this prestigious award. We all know how state employees with the Department of Health and Human Services live their mission to keep all North Carolinians protected and informed during the COVID-19 pandemic. They have worked tirelessly since the pandemic was declared in March of 2020, and today we recognize their commitment by honoring 164 members of the COVID-19 response team. These members have a variety of roles, from executives that led the charge to first responders who put their own health at risk while caring for others. See how they did it.
We showed the state the best of what we can do because we really leveraged and worked together in ways I don't think we had ever worked together before.
So we heard about the first case, I think, in December of 2019. I don't think any of us expected it to be this magnitude of response.
I will say in the beginning, nobody knew how large this would be. It was all unknown. And while we've always thought about emergency preparedness and pandemic planning, there was really no way to fathom the intensity, the magnanimous nature of what was to come. And so it really became a all hands on deck response. Everyone across the department rolled up their sleeves. I feel like there was no corner of our department that was not involved in some way or another.
When we think about our cross-departmental response and all the work areas, it was incredible. We had our EPI team looking at all of the data and our trends. We had our contact tracing case investigation. We had our testing, our treatments, our vaccines, communications, guidance, legal team, our IT and data team, and then our equity and historically marginalized population team. All of those teams, pulling people from all across the department, made that replete response to COVID.
Whether it's the massive mass vac site that we did at Four Seasons in Guilford County, where all of a sudden people became logisticians and operations leads and directing traffic, and that was our team. It was massive policy and guidance and all the things that we did. That was our team. Huge communications operations. That was our team.
This team, and when I say team, I mean it was cross-departmental, have worked so hard for so long with such integrity and such professionalism and such honesty and such support of each other. Like, there is no team that deserves this award more than our COVID response team.
All of us, and the governor included, took up the mantra that what can I do in this moment to be most helpful to the people of North Carolina? And it was that sense of selflessness that made such phenomenal and lasting impact and saved lives here in North Carolina.
I can tell you, as a journalist covering this pandemic and hearing the stories from my colleagues in other states, we are so proud to have this team here in our state. Presenting, of course, is Secretary Cody Kinsley of the Department of Health and Human Services. And while the members were honored in their own ceremony earlier today, Mr. Tim Davis, Medical Countermeasures Coordinator in the Division of Public Health, is representing his colleagues. Thank you, sir. Our next recipient in the category of Outstanding Government Service is Daniel Tenney of the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. As you'll see in this next video, Daniel consistently goes above and beyond the call of duty to ensure the safety of wildlife, ecosystems, and visitors in his role as the park ranger of Crowder's Mountain State Park in Kings Mountain. Let's learn a little bit more about Daniel's work.
Daniel's his park ranger at Crowder's Mountain, and his duties at Crowder's Mountain include being the lead law enforcement ranger. He has all the other duties as a park ranger. He is a emergency medical responder. He supervises 2 other rangers. He does a little bit of everything else. Like all rangers, we wear a lot of different hats. You see him out on the tractor quite a bit. He's just an exceptional employee. But apart from his duties at Crowder's Mountain State Park, he basically leads the firearms instruction for North Carolina State Park System, and requires a lot of extra time on Daniel's part. I don't know how he does it. He still manages to perform his regular job duties at an exceptional level and perform his volunteer duties as an instructor at an exceptional level.
Dan does everything from helping to clean restrooms to bush hogging to firearms training. I mean, he is a jack of all trades. There's nothing here he can't do. And he certainly is one who will jump in whatever project or whatever aspect is needed here.
I was raised, and I firmly believe that if you have something, whether it's time, talent, or treasure, whatever you have, you should share it. I do have a little bit of talent, so I just feel like you should share it. I'm standing on the shoulders of people, good people that came before me, and just trying to carry on what they taught me and the values that they gave me.
He has been dedicated to the firearms program since 2006. But Dan is such a humble man. He truly loves what he's doing, and he is a great example for new state employees. You have to do it out of your love for nature, your love for state parks, but to go the extra mile, that requires a lot of dedication, a lot of passion. Dan shows this passion. He does this because he believes in it. And I want other state employees to see that, especially the younger state employees.
You know, we try to give back, but I don't know that you can ever top Dan.
Daniel's work ethic is addictive. You see Dan work, you see this dedication, and you want to be like Dan.
We all want to be like Daniel. Presenting this award is Secretary Reed Wilson of the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Please welcome our honoree, Daniel Tenney. I strongly encourage you to visit our state parks. They're some of the best in the world. Also in the category of Outstanding Government Service is the Department of Transportation's first and only full-time unmanned aircraft systems operator, Thomas Walls. Thomas has spearheaded North Carolina's use of drones all across the state and is a trusted advisor to governments and private companies, big and small. His work has gained national attention for the state on multiple occasions. Join me as we learn more about the innovations he has brought to NCDOT.
What a place, what a time to be in aviation with the advancement of unmanned activities, unmanned aviation. North Carolina taking a leadership role in stepping forward and developing a UAS program, passing legislation that really put us on the map.
Back in 2014, when I was working in a photogrammetric unit, I was tasked with working with NC State and ITRI to do a study about drones. So we purchased a German drone from overseas, brought it over, and tested the accuracy of these drones.
Tom has been instrumental from the get-go. He's our workhorse. He is the guy who shows up every day, all day, no questions asked, making sure everything's done.
So Tom has really been our operations person, really focusing in on integrating drones into the Department of Transportation in all kinds of innovative ways.
I was just driving down the road one day and saw the IMAP truck on the side of the road, and there was a big accident, and highway patrol, everybody was there. And just a light bulb went off, and I said, why can't we just put a tethered drone on the IMAP truck and these guys can live stream this back to emergency management? I did a little research. I found this photokite system. We contacted IMAP people. We brought them out. We was able to train them in less than a week.
Tom was instrumental in running the operations of the first in the nation waiver to do beyond visual line of sight for bridge inspections.
It took us almost a year to be able to obtain this system and this waiver. And after we received it, we were able to work with our bridge inspectors and show them how to operate these drones. We flew the Skydio drone up under there with this obstacle avoidance right off a boat. And we did 12 columns in less than an hour, which would have took 2 or 3 days for our bridge guys to do. So we can do it, a lot cheaper, safer, and faster.
Really happy to see Tom get this in his career and be recognized this way.
We're super excited that he's winning the award, and it means so much to us that they're taking the time to honor him for all of his work and service.
I'm really humbled. It's a great honor, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our family at Division Aviation. Great group of people to work with. Plus, just being able to get out and meeting all the people at NCDOT. We got so many different departments. It's an honor to represent the UAS community for NCDOT.
Secretary Eric Boyette of the Department of Transportation will present this award. Please welcome our honoree, Thomas Walls. In the public service category, we have an inspiring story about Randall Keene of the North Carolina Education Lottery and his dedication and desire to serve his community. His efforts led to raising more than $80,000 for ALS research, and his personal connection to that cause has motivated his peers to take action. Let's learn more about Randall and Randall's Ralliers.
If I had to describe Randall in one word, I would say his strength. When he was diagnosed with ALS, he never once stopped giving it his best. He always wanted to plant goodness in others, and he always took the time to do that. And I think that takes great strength to think of others before you think of yourself. Even though his body may have begun to fail him, his strength, his courage, and his resolve did not.
Well, I think some people just have an innate desire to help others, and Randall definitely does. His work with the Red Cross and ALS show his dedication to the service of others. He's a terrific role model for all of us here at the lottery.
Randall's public service has inspired all of us to want to give back, especially to ALS. He encourages us to donate money as well as join him for the Randall's Ralliers Walk, which this year he had the largest crowd.
We just went about creating the team to get the word out about ALS, what it is, what it does, the fact that there's no cure, and we need to do more research in order to find a cure. Over the last 4 years, Randall's Ralliers have raised over $95,000 for the ALS Association.
They made a huge difference with us because all the money that's raised throughout our walks throughout the year stay right here in the state to help the patients. They go to help the ALS clinics that we have throughout the state. And so all those things we were able to continue to give and not cut back any during the pandemic because people rallied around, just like Randall's Ralliers.
We are supposed to do all the good we can for as long as we can. And it's just the right thing to do.
Presenting the award is Mark Michalko, Executive Director of the North Carolina Education Lottery. And please welcome our honoree, Randall Keene. Also in the category of public service, we have a true role model and an example of how hard work can change lives. Anthony Reeder of the Department of Administration's Division of Motor Fleet Management uses his past experiences to benefit and guide those around him, especially the youth of Winston-Salem. Join me as we explore the impact Anthony has had on the members of My Brother's Second Chance.
In late 2021, I got an email that said thanking me for Anthony Reeder's service, and it was from My Brother's Second Chance. It was a group I hadn't heard of, but they do inner city work in Winston-Salem in conjunction with the Winston-Salem County Schools and the Winston-Salem the Sheriff's Department in Forsyth County. And they were thanking me for Anthony Reeder coming to speak to their group. I didn't know what Anthony did outside of work, so I started asking questions. I contacted the head of the My Brother's Second Chance, and he talked about what a great
support Anthony was in talking to the youth involved in his program.
So I'm Antonio Stevenson, CEO and founder of My Brother's Second Chance. I have about 12 guys I work with every week. Some of these guys never met their father, let alone don't have one. So I encourage Mr. Reeder, Anthony Reeder, to come and share his story. He's more than a personal trainer. He's a life coach in my eyes, and he's went about getting that certification through the hard knock way.
I always had a good supporting cast, good mother and father. They stood behind me, but when I got to a certain age, I took the wrong path of life, and I can admit to it. And like some people say, you crazy, you did that all that amount of time, and you could have. I like, okay, well maybe it wasn't in God's will. I had to go through. Sometimes you got to go through to see. And then in life, when I look at things, I look at it in a whole different perspective.
Everybody needs a mentor. Even grown folk need mentors. We run into that brick wall of life, and we need somebody to tell us how to navigate through it or around it.
How we went, some of my trials and tribulations, I made him a better person. I mean, this man then went on and did a lot with the kids that and then when I seen what he was doing, I said, man, I want to do that. So I made a couple phone calls, and yeah, so I went to talk to the kids, and you got kids that been through a whole lot. And you know, sometimes you can't help all the kids. And I never forgot this. When the people used to come and talk to me when I was a little kid, they just say, if I can't help all y'all, I can just help one.
He shows up, I get a different push from my kids. So I love the fact that he comes and shares his story, because you need to know what's on the other side. I can't tell him. I can't tell him what's on the other side.
You know, and I had my years in football, but one thing I had to learn, and I told my nephew, why I made a mistake in life, I can't live it through you. You can't do what I did. You got to make your own decision. You got to make your own choice. And I said, but I will be here to support you. As long as I got air in my lungs, I will be here.
Presenting the award is Secretary Pamela Castro of the Department of Administration. Please welcome our honoree, Anthony Reeder. Our next honoree in the category of public service is Debbie Riddle of the Department of Public Safety's Communications Office. After a heartbreaking personal experience, Debbie dedicated her life to fighting for those who have experienced stalking. She is a highly regarded subject matter expert in the anti-stalking efforts and has shared her story at conferences all across this country. Let's learn more about Debbie and what drives her to be an advocate for those who need a little extra help.
I'm the oldest of four, and Peggy was my second youngest sister. She was everything that was beautiful in this world. She was intelligent, kind, compassionate. After graduating from Kent State with a degree in business, she wanted to go on to medical school. So she left Ohio. She spent some time in Italy, and when she came back, she was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and taking some classes so she could go on and take the MCATs and hopefully get into med school. And on that campus in Albuquerque, New Mexico is where Peggy met her stalker.
So before meeting Debbie, I didn't really know a lot about stalking, and through listening to her and attending some of the events that she's put on for her anti-stalking initiatives, it's been really enlightening to me. I've learned a lot, and To see someone take something that they're passionate about and use it as a force for good, that's a really exciting thing to be a part of.
Before losing my sister, I have never ever been involved in advocacy work. I didn't even really know what it was. And until we suffered the loss of Peggy, I found out that somehow, some way I needed to give her and other victims a voice. And that's really how I found my way into advocacy work.
Humility is definitely a strength that Debbie has. She's not a type of person who seeks out attention or wants the spotlight, but she was presented with this opportunity to share something that can make a difference in a lot of people's lives, and she has stepped out, maybe even out of her comfort zone, in order to make sure that victims of stalking know what avenues they can take to protect themselves so that something like Debbie experienced never happens to another family again.
In the field of stalking, sexual assault, domestic violence, rape, we have come a long way, but we still have so much work to do. And we know that by reading the newspapers every day when we see these women who lose their lives at the hand of their abuser.
This award is presented by Cassandra Hoekstra, Chief Deputy for Administration of the Department of Public Safety, and our honoree, Debbie Riddle. Our last but certainly not least honoree in the public service category is Jimmy Wright with North Carolina State University. In 2021, Jimmy and his wife Leah opened Wake Monarch Academy, the first Raleigh area high school specifically designed to serve youth struggling with addiction. Jimmy's fundraising efforts led to the school gaining the $300,000 needed to open. Let's see if we can learn a bit more about Jimmy and Wake Monarch Academy.
Leah and I had experienced struggles with one of our sons with addiction. It was very difficult and quite hopeless seeming because there were no resources out. When kids got into trouble, kids got kicked out, they were told that they just couldn't go back to school.
So Wake Monarch Academy is the first recovery high school of the Triangle area. It's for students who are in recovery from substance use and allows them a safe and supportive environment where they can be around other peers their same age, working to continue their high school diploma, but have the recovery support that's integrated throughout the school day.
We've got abilities to have them connect in school academically. We have ways to help them continue to get support in recovery and be able to network with other peer places that we've never ever had, and we're only just scratching the surface of it now. I'm very thankful and wanted people and parents to know that there is a way and there is hope.
Instead of allowing it to destroy their family, they not only found a way through it, but they took everything that they learned and wanted to turn it into something positive for other people who were going through the same thing. So that is why I felt like I needed to nominate him. He embodies all that we hold dear here at NC State, which is to think and do.
When a family goes through something like this, and a husband and wife goes through it together, it can either make or break a relationship, in my opinion. For us, we are very fortunate that it drew us together. And we were able to stand as a team with our son, as hard as it was. And doing this with him has meant the most to me because we don't want other families to go through what we did. And to be able to have not only our relationship together, strengthening, working alongside each other to do something that is so meaningful and so needed is beyond anything I could describe.
Presenting the award is Charles Mamoni, Vice Chancellor of Finance and Administration at NC State University, and our honoree, Jimmy Wright. Up next, we have three amazing recipients in the final category, Safety and Heroism. For our first honoree, please welcome Department of Public Safety employee Charlie Carter. A member of the Office of Staff Development and Training, Charlie was on his way back from a day of fishing with his father-in-law when he noticed someone in dire need of assistance. Without his quick thinking and bravery, the outcome may have been tragic. Join me as we learn exactly what happened that day and how Charlie saved a man's life.
I know oftentimes people say, I did what anybody would do. Anybody wouldn't do that. And I thought that he was well deserving. I thought it's an amazing story. I'm not surprised that he did it in knowing him. And I just felt like he was deserving of this award.
We were out on 33, had gone past Aurora, North Carolina, and out toward the Hoboken, Campbell's Creek area. And we'd fished out there, and we were on the way back in, and all of a sudden I look up on the bridge, and there's these two cars parked on the bridge. I could see a woman standing there, and her hands were all up in the air, and she was just talking. I could tell she was animated. And I told my father-in-law, I said, oh man, I guess it's domestic now. You know, these folks are fighting. I'm ready to get home. And I pulled up and I rolled my window down, and as I was rolling my window down, she said, he's in the water, he's in the water. And there was a man in the water, holding on to a boat. And I went across the rail, took my boots off, took my sweatshirt off, and I just dove in.
That morning we were dispatched for a man in the water just right down the street from us here at the bridge.
He was probably, 50, 60 yards offshore. And I swam out to where he was and got up behind him. And so I started trying to swim, holding on to the boat and trying to get him closer to the shore where we could stand up. The boat moved a little bit, and then it stopped. And he spoke to me, and he said, my anchor's out. So I swam to the front of the boat, got the anchor up, got it into the boat, swam back around to where he was at, and got the boat close enough to shore to where we could stand up. And by that time, rescue was there.
I saw two gentlemen in the water. One was elderly, and one was another gentleman to help them out. And they were just getting to the shore as we arrived.
I jumped the rail and went down the bank, and about the time I got to the bottom was just about the time they were getting up to the shore.
They got him out of the water. I went back and got myself right and got my truck, and I left.
I remember pretty vividly, it was quite blustery that day. It was probably 45, 50 degrees, and the water couldn't have been more than probably 40.
So that was our biggest concern, was hypothermia, and just making sure he got warmed up.
When you ask the question, would he do it again? No question. He'd do it again.
I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to God that He put me in the place where I was at the time, and there's a reason for everything. So.
This award is presented by Tim Moose, Chief Deputy for Adult Correction and Juvenile Justice of the Department of Public Safety, and our honoree, Charlie Carter. Our next honoree in this category is Daniel Emery. Daniel is an unauthorized substance tax enforcement agent with the Department of Revenue. While she was driving home one day from work, she noticed a woman in distress and stopped to help. And like so many selfless people with a big heart, their humility is endless. She didn't tell anybody in her office what had happened. No one knew what happened until an email showed up in the inbox of Secretary Penny's from the victim's uncle. Let's watch and learn exactly what was in that email.
Hi, I'm Ron Penny, Secretary of Revenue. Probably over a year ago, I received an email from a taxpayer about a heroic deed of one of my employees. As I read it, I welled up. And today, we get to celebrate with Danielle Emery the winning of the Governor's Award of Excellence. It is an honor for all of us to serve with you, Danielle. And now, I will read an excerpt from that letter. On November 9th, 2021, I can't tell you how thankful I am that your officer was there, because without her quick thinking, my niece would have died. I can tell you now that your officer went above and beyond, because when I was pulling up, she was comforting my brother, who is 78 years old and who didn't understand half of what had happened. She is alive today because of your officer. Today and every day, we are just thankful for my niece being able to live another day. Thankful my brother and his wife and our family are not grieving a loss. God put your officer in the perfect place that day, without a doubt.
Danielle is probably one of the most original people that I've ever met. She just is who she is. She's caring and loving and giving, and she's just that way with everybody.
Agent Emery, I'm proud to work alongside a person with such integrity and compassion as you. Your actions and the professionalism that you exhibit should be an example for others to follow.
Presenting the award is Secretary Ron Penny of the Department of Revenue and our honoree, Danielle Emery. Our final honoree this afternoon, we have State Trooper Cody Tao. Trooper Tao was alerted to a vehicle pursuit, and when he joined the chase, he put the safety of the public before his own. When the suspect vehicle attempted to get away from the officers by entering a highway going in the wrong direction, Trooper Tao did everything he could to stop it. Let's see exactly what happened that night.
Well, Cody is one of our new baby troopers, as we like to call him. He's got a really good work ethic. He's always happy to do whatever you ask from him.
I was working on the southwest side of the county, and Raleigh had communicated to us that a Johnson County Sheriff's deputy was in a chase with a vehicle, and it had entered Wake County.
We had a few vehicles in the area, and some were kind of gaining to be within the pursuit.
I remember Raleigh saying that the chase was headed up Rock Quarry from Battle Bridge Road, and so I decided to exit off of Rock Quarry. And when I exited a Rock Quarry, I saw blue lights and sirens up top. So I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I believed initially that they were going to be crossing over the overpass on Rock Quarry. Then I saw the blue lights stop up at the top of the ramp. So I continued to travel up, and then I saw the vehicle headed my direction. And before I knew it, I just decided to stop the chase there.
C36A Raleigh 1050 with my vehicle.
Rock Quarry Road.
In that moment, he decided to put all those innocent lives that would be in this path of this driver ahead of his own and decided to stop the wrong way driver in the pursuit.
I remember the hit and spinning around real quick, but getting right back on the phone and calling Raleigh and letting them know what happened, and then continuing to finish the job.
When you meet somebody head on, you know that there's a potential for something going wrong. And the vehicle that he pulled in front of was a larger vehicle than what he was driving and traveling a whole lot faster. And then he made that decision, a conscious decision, to save the lives of countless people that are traveling down the interstate that would be unsuspecting of a vehicle going the wrong way.
I know how dangerous wrong way drivers can be. There wasn't really any thought to it. It was just so fast that I honestly just acted on instinct and decided to end the chase there.
Cody's just one of those people that he genuinely cares for others. This career is definitely his own because he is a selfless individual. He always has a great attitude. He has a great work ethic, and he's just an all-around amazing trooper. And I'm super happy to have him as one of my troopers in the district.
The award is presented by Colonel Freddie Johnson, leader of the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, and welcome our honoree, Trooper Cody Tao. Thank you, sir. Please join me in congratulating all of today's honorees. Their passion for public service truly inspiring. They are all making a tremendous difference in the lives of all of us who call North Carolina home. And while grateful for improved conditions that allow us to come together today for this wonderful ceremony, in fact, COVID-19 impacted all North Carolinians extremely significantly. I think we're all a bit more cautious, maybe a lot more grateful for the things that we would take for granted. That said, our honorees did not allow pandemic limitations to change how they approach their professional and personal lives. In fact, there's ample evidence that this period inspired astonishing accomplishments and even higher calls to help those in need. As Director Gibson said earlier, they are shining stars who lit a brighter path through their expertise and compassion. As individual and members of teams, they are people and co-workers, friends, and public servants who we can all rely on since we call this great state of North Carolina home. One more round of applause for our honorees. And in celebration of the dedication, we have a special closing performance to recognize our recipients. Please welcome back to the stage Devon Young. She will be singing and paying tribute to our 2022 Governor's Awards for Excellence honorees.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long, and I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things that you need to borrow, for no one can meet all of your needs that you don't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long that I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, sister, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If you have a load that you must bear, that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load. If you just call me, come on and call me when you need a friend. Oh, call on me when you need a friend. Hey, call me, come on and call me. Oh, call me, why don't you call me? Congratulations to you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to start going like this when she was singing. Thank you, Ms. Young. And I personally want to extend a special thank you to Carol Battle for inviting me back to be part of this amazing ceremony. I'm leaving here completely inspired and grateful and proud to call North Carolina home. Thank you again to our honorees, our presenters, everyone behind the scenes who made this event possible. Special thanks also to our guests, and of course, Meredith College, who is near and dear to my heart. My wife is an alum here, so we appreciate that very much for the use of the Jones Auditorium. So this concludes our ceremony. Please join us in the Meredith College Rotunda, located next door in Johnson Hall, for a reception honoring our award recipients. And I strongly encourage you to seek out our honorees, go up to them, say hello, congratulations, and give them a hug. Have a good day, and congratulations again.